just in Japan on a bike, and I'm at my favourite hangout, which is the road station at Dorshi in Yamanashi, and it's a lovely autumn day. It's really nice. The weather did cool down a bit, but bearing in mind it's the 3rd even of November, it's the 3rd of November, and it's very pleasant indeed. Lovely autumn colours. Up here the sky is usually quite deep blue this time of year, and it's usually quite sunny, and really nice autumn colours, as I said. Have a quick look at some of the bikes here. Being a public holiday today, quite a few more bikes. That, with the wonderful weather, makes this place very popular up here in the mountains. Gixxer, they're not quite sure what the engine size is on that Gixxer, but haven't seen that colour scheme before. I think it looks nice actually, I like it. I like the traditional blue and white Suzuki colours, but I think this one really looks nice, I have to say. Haven't seen it before, but good, nice one. We got the Triumph Bonneville. That'll be new retro, that's not an old, that's definitely not an old one, that's new retro. Kawasaki Z900 RS. Looks like, I'm not going to get too close, looks like he's left his key on the saddle. Amazing. And his gloves and helmet. As I said before, it's a really nice thing about Japan is that people can just leave their stuff lying around and nobody's going to steal it. So this is the fairly recent Honda Rebel 1100. So in Japan, the dealer told me that the Honda Rebel 250 is the most popular bike in Japan. It's the one that sells the most. The 1100 Rebel came out not that long ago, last year maybe, I can't remember, and I have to say I did have a little bit of an interest in it, and yeah, I think it's nice. I think it must be very comfortable two up. He's had a scrape, he's dropped it, and not just dropped it, looks like he's slid on that one. So that's the typical blue and white I'm talking about. Actually the blue's a bit different, it's not the typical, is that the typical Suzuki blue? Anyway, it's blue and white. Definitely had a scrape, had a slide on that. One's got a bit of a scuff as well. What's this? This Kawasaki 1100. Oh, that'll be the ZZR 1100, I would say. It's a big old screen on that, but because it's so low, you're not really going to benefit from that unless you're leaning over the tank. MT25, that'll be 250, I suppose. It's an MT25. An R25. I guess that's 250 as well. I suppose these are both 250s. The thing to remember is there are a lot of 250s in Japan due to the tax breaks, and there's no what we call an MOT back in Blighty. That's the government inspection, the Ministry of Transport test. Vehicles under 250cc are not subject to that, so the 250cc category is very popular in Japan. Hence I've got one as well. Not today, I'm not riding that today, I'm riding the bigger bike, but that's why I chose the 250cc, because of the tax is a lot cheaper as a tax break, and the insurance is much cheaper, and there's no government test system on them, so it really is an economy option to get a bike. And you know, let's face it, you can get really good bikes under 250cc these days. I do like this. I'm focusing a bit on this Ducati. Yeah, it's really beautiful. I have to say, I like Japanese bikes for their reliability, and they're practical as well, aren't they? But this Ducati is stunning. I mean, it's ruined by a tank bag, but it's absolutely stunning. Really beautiful, that. The only thing is, I have to, and I've got to tell you this, that whenever I'm out and about, and I'm out and about a lot, whenever I see a broken down bike at the side of the road, it's nearly always Ducati. It's almost never anything else. See the occasional BMW broken down, but it's nearly always Ducati. This is an interesting one, is Husqvarna. Now, Husqvarna used to be a Swedish brand specialising especially in off-road bikes, but correct me if I'm wrong, didn't another company buy them out? It wasn't KTM, was it? I don't know. I thought they got bought out. Certainly looks different. It's an interesting design. Trying to get in a position where my shadow isn't and the sun's, if I point that way, you'll see the sun in the lens, I think. Yeah, very interesting, that. And it looks like, I don't know if that's an add-on or that came with this thing that goes on the tank there. I suppose it makes sense. Better than just strapping a tank bag with, you know, like this with the magnets on. Really don't like that at all. Don't think it's suited to bikes that lean over a lot either. We got here, that's a nice, a bit different, that colour, sort of a military green or something. Well, not really, because it's metallic, so that wouldn't be military, but the tone, the hue, if you like. MT09, there we are. It's got these extra lights on the front, fog lights, spotlights, whatever. Drop. Don't know what you'd want to call those, but I have seen quite a few bikes. They are becoming more and more popular, these extra lights on the front. And I'm thinking of getting them for my V-Strom. This Estrella is old. This I can see a little bit old. I'm not convinced that big disc brake is original, but again, correct me if I'm wrong. Fairly sure they didn't have that big disc brake. It could be. I say that, but it could be. I mean, the engine looks old. Carburettor. He's got a disc on the back as well. Not sure. I could have sworn these bikes had drum brakes on the back, these older models. Very popular. I think this will be a 250 single, or I think it's a 250 single, fairly sure it is. I think there might be a 400 version. There's my bike. Needs a good clean, don't look too close. We've got a pair here. What are these together? Are they the same? Yeah, they are, aren't they? Got probably together, I guess. Two bikes exactly the same. Kawasaki 250T. I don't see many of those actually. It's quite unusual. I see a lot of Yamaha and Honda trail bikes, scramblers. I suppose it's a scrambler really, but can't say that I've seen many of these. a bit old, I would say. What's this? VRX. Honda VRX Roadster. Nice big V-twin. Well, not that big, but medium-sized V-twin. So it gives the impression it's air-cooled, but then it's got this radiator, which I always think big radiators slapped on the front of the frame there really let down the looks of the bike, but no doubt a practical feature of a bike that's probably ridden a lot in hot, humid weather such as we get here. Well, these, I mentioned these before, these cross clubs, really popular. Try not to get the sun too much in the lens. Clubman, I like these actually, these Clubman GB 250s. Before I bought my V-Strom, I was looking at used bikes, and this was one that I looked at. And I test rode one, a used one, a private seller was selling. And I was very impressed. And the interesting thing is, it's a single cylinder engine with two downpipes. I always find that odd, probably unnecessary. I can't believe that's necessary. I'm sure that's a gimmick. But yeah, I do like it. Yeah, it wasn't exactly for me in the end. I decided. Look at this one. This Ducati Scrambler. This is a bright one. What does that say on now? Just a Scrambler. All right. It's a bright one, that. Yeah, nice, not bad. I mean, odd. I find them odd looking, especially the suspension setup there. I find that very odd, to be honest. But yeah, a bit different. This is BMW G310. A couple of guys on there. Honda Cubs over there. Loaded up, fully loaded, just strap things on the back. Got another one here. So many of these, really popular, these Honda Cubs or whatever. This is a cross cub, isn't it? Super Cub, there we are. Honda Super Cub with kickstart. Now somebody commented on one of my posts a while back about, I think it was on my Instagram ages ago, that they haven't had kickstarts for years on such bikes, but I'm telling you, they really do have kickstarts. I know you probably saw it just a few minutes ago on another one. I know that isn't new, but it's not old, and I assure you, you can still buy little bikes in Japan with kickstarts. You really can. Such as this as well, look. See? YBR125. Well, that may not be a very recent model, but I can assure you there are still plenty of bikes on sale, small bikes with kickstarts. This is amazing. This is unusual. Not my thing, but I find it amazing. Especially that. See, I suppose that seat folds, doesn't it? I suppose it goes up and down. Certainly a lot of big platform on the back for your luggage. Honda. I don't know what the model. Well, I do see these occasionally, and certainly it's sort of like a bit like a scooter. A Honda does these weird things, doesn't it? Honda has these weird bikes that are not exactly scooters and not exactly bikes, and probably rather niche. It's got some really odd features. I mean, look at this here. And what's this? Some sort of what's that? gear selector. I don't know what that is. Brake, handbrake, parking brake. Really a very odd looking machine, I have to say. Somebody's smoking. God, somebody's got a smoky exhaust. Quite a big rear silencer on that, probably to do with the cat. Noisy bugger. Right, this Suzuki Scrambler TS185. See a few of those. The square clocks on them. And there we are, yet another one. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've already passed a few. I didn't go in detail on them, but the Rebel 250 totally ruined by a top box. Jeez, I would not. I mean, if you are going to put luggage on it, I don't know. Well, I understand why they do it. It's practical, isn't it? But totally ruined this bike with a top box. And but it's practical. People, you know, they've got a side bag on there, the pannier, not on that side. Might have taken it with them, might have valuables in it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you need a bike with a top box, I would get a different bike, like mine, like the V-Strom, and I keep the top box on mine because it suits that bike. I know one reason why these are really popular. I know why the Rebel 250s. First of all, it is cheap, but another reason is the seat's very low, and that's a big issue for a country where a lot of people are short, especially in the leg. It's just a fact of life, you know. It's I really feel sorry for people who are heavily restricted by the type of bike they can get, just purely because of their stature. Is a real pity. But anyway, short people tend to live longer, don't they? So there is an upside, right? So CB1300s. These are very popular bikes to customise as well. What's this? It's not another one of those Estrellas, is it? That's the Suzuki. I know this will be the this is the rival to that Estrella I was talking about earlier. This will be a 250 single as well. Kickstart again. This is an older one because you've got the drum brakes front and rear on this. And yeah, this is, I forget what they call it. Gosh, my mind's gone blank. But this is the Suzuki rival to the Kawasaki Estrella. Very popular bike. So I'm guessing this is the 250 version, and there is again, I think there is a 400 version, and of course the 400s are popular as well because that's the medium bike license cut-off point. So what we got here? Oh, this is beautiful. This is Kawasaki W800, really nice. And he keeps it in good nick, very shiny. Very shiny indeed. I don't think that helmet suits this bike, but I'm starting to sound vain, aren't I? Probably think this song is about you. So this Beamer R1100S, these huge. I always find it odd that BMW made a sports bike that's essentially based on a touring bike, you know, with its, or a roadster with its shaft drive and protruding twin boxer engine cylinders. You know, I always find that odd. And I believe this is air cooled as well, isn't it? Yeah, I think this older model, this is, and they still air cooled them before they started to water cool them. But although odd looking, generally a very reliable bike. Amazing low down torque. Right, this has been just in Japan on a bike. and I'm gonna head back while well, anyway, I'm gonna head back, and there we are, just another view of the beautiful weather and autumn colours.